Well, there's our fine-feathered friend, the Atlanta Falcons.
Big Bird.
A little wet out there today, but it has quit raining. Robin Lawrence bringing that ball out to the 31-yard line. The Falcons with the ball. Steve Bartkowski giving out to the big fullback. Thompson to the 33, Ely and Vanderbunt. Time of possession really in favor right now, the Falcons.
They're up 13:03 to 8:57 for the 49ers. That's ball control, but there's nothing happening as far as points go, Gary.
Well, they've had such bad field position, Atlanta has. Right now, they're trying to get some field position from the 33 at second down, and still about 9 yards to go. Wallace Francis, 89, one of the wide receivers. He, along with Jenkins, come to the bottom of the screen. Thompson, stand back, the running backs. Bartkowski, play action. It's Jenkins, and Alfred Jenkins has it. He came back to the football. Tony Lender defending on the play. Boy, Jenkins, he's a remarkable athlete.
You know, I was talking to Jimmy Orr before the game, who used to be a coach down here at receivers. Here's a great shot of the defensive backs flowing with as Bartkowski's setting up. You can see the pattern being run right here. He sets up, the ball is thrown out. Watch Jenkins here coming. On his knees, he catches that ball, and the official is right there to make sure that it was good. It was a great reception.
Alfred Jenkins from Morris Brown right here in Atlanta. First down. The ball now at the 47-yard line. 5-18. Bartkowski to Woody Thompson. Thompson across the midfield stripe. There's a flag on the play as he comes across the 45 of San Francisco. Cleveland Elam made the tackle, but there is a flag back across the 50-yard line, and guess who? It's against Atlanta. That's holding.
Another holding penalty, and Bartkowski isn't too happy about it. A quarterback can get a little bit upset, especially when you got some momentum going for your offense. Again, it's another break defensively for the San Francisco 49ers. They keep pushing them back. Bad field position.
You know, Bartkowski says, all I want to do is realize my potential. He's been plagued so much with the injuries. Every time it looks like he's putting it together, he's been stymied with something that's put him out. And now today, he's come back. First time in a long time. What'd you say, October 10th?
October the 10th.
The regular season. He did play in the preseason and had a good preseason.
Had a great preseason, hurt that knee again.
First down now, 20 yards to go. Bartkowski slips as he goes back, and he's going to be buried.
There's a gold rush.
Cleveland Elam was there. Cedric Hardman. Cleveland Elam had 4 sacks last week. He has 10.5 for the year. Bartkowski just stumbled for a second, and that's all it took.
With that front four, big, that's all you need. You can't make any mistakes. Those guys are big and quick.
You know, San Francisco last year coming up with those 61 sacks. They had a big contest as to what to call that forward wall. They called them the gold rush. Now here in Atlanta, they're having the same contest.
Right.
They're calling theirs the Grits Blitz and Lehman's Demons and a few others. Second down now, 31 yards to go. Everybody moving off that left side of the offensive line. Scott looked like the first.
Now the fans are getting a little bit upset with all these penalties also.
Well, we're going to have to check the total penalty yardage right now. It's amazing as they're going to step off 5 more.
Here it is right here.
Yep, number 70.
Mr. Scott going straight up before the ball's even snapped.
Thus far, Atlanta, 7 penalties, 48 yards. Seems like more than that, doesn't
Boy,
it?
It sure does.
There's Kenny Meyer along with Jim Plunkett. Plunkett weighing this year about 19 pounds less, and it's helped him. There it is, 2nd and 36. Give up the middle, Woody Thompson, and Thompson out to the 25-yard line. Crowd booing, feeling they're very conservative. But Jimmy Webb and Cleveland Elam, the middlemen, that forward wall, make the tackle.
You know, Lehman Bennett is a coach that likes to play conservative. He likes to stay into a ball game. When you're down here and you're backed up again, you don't want to make that mistake to give that pass interception right over to him.
There's Lehman Bennett, 39 years old. He's a people coach. Really has great rapport with his players. 4 and 3, one of the real surprises in the NFL. Bartkowski giving to Thompson again, and Thompson not going to go very far. To the 29, Eddie Lewis coming up to make the tackle. It's 4th down. Well, one thing about Atlanta, they haven't scored a lot of points. They've let their defense do a lot of the work for them, and you can't knock success, right, Tom?
That's right. I'll tell you, they've been in there probably 60-70% of the time playing these ball games, but when you only give up 46 points, that defense will keep you in a ball game. You keep your mistakes down to a minimum, and if they can eliminate these penalties that they have.
This is Tony Leonard going back now deep for the 49ers for the kick from John James.
You know, John James, here's another big asset. This kind of guy can get you out of the hole, gets that big punt for you all the time. 250-yarders back to back.
And he is
another one
again.
Woo!
Kick. Leonard has it at the 30, 35, and he's to the 38-yard line. Tony Leonard is 14th in the NFC in punt returns. And Paul Reisig, who snapped the ball, flying down the field, a 45-yard kick that time by John James. He kicked his first one very poorly, but since that time, he has been excellent.
He's warmed up, I'll tell you.
So at the 38-yard line now, the 49ers have the ball. Hey, let's look ahead to some boxing. Unbeaten heavyweight Leon Spinks takes on Alfio Rigetti from Las Vegas. The winner of this fight, Tom Eddy, is going to fight Muhammad Ali in February.
If the man will come back.
Yes, sir. Rigetti against Spinks. That's November 18th, Friday, on the CBS Sports Special. Here's Plunkett back to throw again. Little screen pass to Wilbur Jackson. Looks like he turned to run before he had that ball.
That's a drop ball. Plunkett's got to be upset with that one. He had let the rush come on top of him. He's calm and cool. Look at him. I'll tell you.
You know, Wilbur Jackson's a good receiver. He already caught 11 passes, and last year led the team. He had 34 catches, so he doesn't drop very many. Second down, 10 from the 38-yard line, and again, the Falcons make that defensive change. Famuina coming back in, along with Dewey McClain, Lewis and Bailey. Wilbur Jackson, a big, strong guy out of Alabama, the first-round draft pick in 1974, and Dewey McClain making the tackle.
All right, you get a chance to see the offensive line firing out here and the blocking on Humphrey. Right there, he takes him to the outside. A little grabbing, a little holding, you know, his little shoving kind of stuff. You like that.
There's Keith Bonhorst. We're watching number 71. Third down. 5 yards to go. Jim Plunkett. Protection breaking down, and he is down. Chad Humphrey. 6'5", 265 pounds of him. Made the sack at the 35-yard line. He had 5 sacks coming into this game, and the crowd loves it.
Oh, they got to love this defense. They got to be excited about this ball club. Look at the rush. Plunkett sets up there. He's going for the deep receivers. He can't find anybody. He tucks it under, and the big man comes in there and gets him.
Boy, they had that sealed off, didn't they? They had Miro on the other side.
They sure did.
Here's Whittam getting ready to kick now. Robin Lawrence, the deep man. Whittam started the year both as a placement kicker as well as a punter. Then they brought in Ray Wershing after the 4th game. Big rush. He just got that underway. Just made it. The ball is going to bounce around and go inside the 40-yard line of Atlanta. They came very close, the Atlanta Falcons did, in blocking that kick by Tom Whittam.
He was lucky to get that one off.
And now the ball will be at the 38-yard line of Atlanta. We have 3 minutes left in this first half, and a defensive struggle as anticipated. As earlier this year, the two teams met. Atlanta winning that ball game 7-0.
In stage 1 of my life, I couldn't stand dull wheels. I'm the same in stage 2 with my new 78 Ford LTD2, the trimmer sportier LTD at a trimmer price, the LTD of mid-size cars. If you're a sporty guy who appreciates the finer things in life, welcome to stage 2.
Isn't it you in an LTD2? You'll never know till you try.
Welcome to LTD2.
A better idea from Ford.
I would tell another woman to go into Firestone.
Ask a friend about Firestone, Firestone, Firestone.
This is my car, and I think it's more or less my responsibility. And when when it comes time to changing tires, I'm the one that had to take it in. Well, if someone was to ask me, you know, what tires to get, I would tell them to get Firestone.
Firestone.
rain and all, she's still very attractive here at Atlanta Stadium. And right now, the Atlanta Falcons, after that 27-yard punt, have the ball at their own 38-yard line. Bartkowski on first down to throw. This is Wallace Francis. He's going to be about a yard short of that first down as Tony Leonard rams him out of bounds.
He's got to start doing that more often on first down. Come out with that pass play.
Bartkowski. Do we have another penalty?
Oh,
we sure do.
I'll be darned.
I didn't see that, but it's offside against Atlanta. We're going to have a record day here in penalties the way it's going right now. 5-yard step off, so it's going to be 1st and 15 now for the Falcons. One thing about Bartkowski, he's got the great arm. There's never been any question. Tom, there's been some talk about his technique.
84.
84 is Jenkins, the wide receiver.
Wide receiver must have lined up all sides.
But usually the officials warn you on something like that.
Yeah, they usually give you one warning when you're out there, but after that they call it on you. That's 8 penalties now for Atlanta for 53 yards.
There's Alfred Jenkins.
Blitz, look out. Here comes the safety.
And Bartkowski's in trouble. Is he hit? He had no chance whatsoever. Cedric Hardman hit him from behind. And for a guy that's coming back from knee surgery, you kind of wince every time you see him go down like that.
They had everybody coming that time. Even the safety came up on a strong side there and blitzed inside. You can see the pressure that's putting on Bartkowski right here. They pick up the one man, but they can't pick up the outside guy. They miss him totally.
Oh, boy, I tell you, Hardman jarred his teeth on that one. Look at that statistic, 13 sacks. They're going to have a bundle today before this day is over. The ball now to 22. You know, Atlanta's protected their quarterback pretty well. 11 sacks prior to today. They gave up 44 a year ago. 2nd and 21. Bartkowski going to try it again.
Another flag.
And this is Francis broken up. Fine defensive play that time by Tony Leonard. Wallace Francis, the intended receiver, and as you said, Tom, there is another flag.
I can't believe this.
Well, you have young football teams. That'll happen sometimes. The weather can affect it, but let's face it, it's frustrating. Illegal motion against Atlanta. Those are penalties. Offside and illegal motion. It must drive Lehman Bennett crazy.
They've got to. You just can't make those mistakes. He keeps saying it, and boy, I'll tell you, when I was playing, if we'd ever do that, you'd come back to that huddle you didn't want to, because Unitas would be all over you.
2 minutes and 25 seconds left. Stay with us at halftime. NFL Today. Irv and Phyllis and Brent will be bringing you all the action throughout the National Football League. From the 22 now. 3rd down, and it's 21 yards to go. There's a delay. Woody Thompson's got some running room, and Thompson out to the 29. Ralph McGill up to make the tackle. McGill was hurt last week, but he's right back in the lineup. He's had a sprained ankle, and now on 4th down, the crowd here not too happy.
Not too happy with the offense, but they've got to be happy with that Atlanta defense. Let me tell you, let's give credit where credit's due. The San Francisco Defensive Ball Club is doing just as great a job as Atlanta's doing.
I tell you, the way this game's going, it could be a big play or a break. You know what, Tom?
Right. Exactly what happened before.
So we have the 2-minute warning now being executed here at Atlanta Stadium. As we have no score, the Atlanta Falcons going to have to get rid of the football on a 4th down. Long yardage to go. Let's look ahead now. The Lions against the Falcons next week right here.
I'm going to be back down here again.
All right, the Giants against Tampa Bay and Washington, Philadelphia. I tell you, Jaworski's having a pretty good day today. He has scored on a run and thrown a touchdown pass. So they'll go against the Redskins, and that's to be followed by Los Angeles, Green Bay, San Francisco, New Orleans. I tell you, the 49ers are going to be tested by Hank Stram's offensive crew.
I think they are, too. They're really doing a good job down there, and Stram is, you know, one of the winningest coaches in the National Football League today.
That's next Sunday, the NFL right here on CBS. So the 2-minute warning, the ball at the 29-yard line. It's 4th down, 18 yards to go for Atlanta. Atlanta has had a lack of offense, as has San Francisco. The two defenses have played remarkably well, and that's been the story this entire first half of play. The defense of Atlanta allowing only 46 points. On the other hand, San Francisco has scored only 53 points this year. This is John James back to kick inside the 15-yard line. Leonard is deep for the 49ers. He's got it at the 35-yard line. The chase is on. Tom Moriarty's over there, and help arrives. But running into the kicker, I think, against Eddie Lewis, number 22. It'll either be 5 or 15 if it's running or roughing. It looks like it'll be running, though, but it will be an automatic first down for Atlanta. Now, wait a minute. They threw the flag, Tom, and I don't see it now.
I think here's a good example of what happened. What happened was the defensive player was hit by the offensive player, and it's not a penalty when you run into him if he's hit or knocked into.
I admire the referee for that. He picked his flag up.
He was right. It was right. And Eddie Lewis was yelling and screaming at the official, said that he had gotten hit, and that was a good call by the official. These guys make mistakes, too, out there.
So they picked up the flag. As an end result, the 49ers have it at their own 41. First down. You can hear the crowd. They did not like it. But again, you got to admire the courage of the official. Here's Plunkett back to throw again. Protection is there. He's going to run out of it. Throws up. Almost caught. That would have been a great catch had it been made. Rick Bias defending on the play. As going high was Gene Washington.
Plunkett had some room to run there. He could have probably gotten about 10 yards on that play himself. But they're taught not to run.
Well, Jim Plunkett, of course, has had some injury problems himself. Shoulder surgery.
Right. Even in the last game when they played Falcons in San Francisco, he had some bruised ribs and sat out the second half. Right, Scott Hunter came in and did a very good job.
Plunkett, by the way, 2 of 4 for 27 yards in that game before he's out with bruised ribs.
Scott Bull, excuse me.
From the 41 now. Second down, 10. The crowd still booing. Plunkett back again. Quick hit it. And a flag on the play. Greg Brazina hit it. But we have a flag back at the 30-yard line. And you can see Jim Plunkett surveying the situation. Brazina made quite a play. It looked like that ball was headed to Washington. And Brazina was in his drop area and batted it away. Got another penalty.
Another holding penalty. We may have a record going here today.
A minute 35 as you see it on your screen. 10-yard step off now against San Francisco. And now the Falcons bring in a 5th defensive back. Frank Reed checks in. Dewey McLean out.
Holding, number 77, offense.
That's Gene Barrett, the left side offensive tackle. 5th-year man from Tulsa. He's trying to keep Jeff Miro out of there. Miro's the guy that replaced John Zook a year ago when he was traded to St. Louis. And he's a street fighter. They tell me he'll just battle you for everything.
I think they all are up on that line.
Second down, 20. Plunkett up to Delvin Williams. Williams hit pretty hard, but he gets forward about a yard or 2 more. Pennywell, Ortega over there. So it goes to a 3rd down. And timeout is going to be called by Atlanta. They think they're going to get this football again with a minute 23 remaining.
Yeah, they want to get that field position where maybe they can get down in that field goal range where they can get some points up on this board.
They still have 2 timeouts remaining. San Francisco has all 3 of theirs. So timeout by Atlanta, as it's going to be 3rd down and still long yardage to go. It's virtually 20 yards still to go for that first down. As Plunkett is over, conferring with Ken Meyer.
That's when a quarterback goes over there and says, what do I do?
Let's look now to the CBS Sports Spectacular and the CBS Sports Special. Right now, the boxing match, Leon Spinks and against Alfredo Rigetti, who, by the way, is unbeaten. He's 27-0. He's an Italian heavyweight champion, and everyone knows about Leon Spinks, the gold medal winner. And the winner of this fight will earn the right to fight Muhammad Ali in February. That's live from Las Vegas. 2 unbeaten squaring off against each other. Friday, November 18th, 11:30 Eastern Time.
That's the Italian lion, I guess they call him.
There's Plunkett, former Heisman Trophy winner for the University of Stanford.
They say he's been having trouble with his arm, but in talking with him, he says there's nothing wrong with my arm at all. He says I've been throwing well, and he says I've been throwing well in practice. He says I'm going to the shorter game right now, and the long game, he says they're just not giving that to us anymore.
From the 32. 3rd down. Let's make it 18 yards to go. Plunkett giving up the middle to Wilbur Jackson. And Jackson gets a lot of that yardage back to the 44, but it's still going to be 4th down. Rick Bias made the stop. 4th down now, and with a minute 17, the clock is going to be stopped again. So Atlanta will get the football, and they have some time. Boy, that defense just not letting San Francisco do anything. As you look at Greg Brosina, he's the graybeard in that linebacking core. Now that Tommy Novus has hung it up.
I saw Tommy earlier today. He looks great. He was one of the toughest middle linebackers that I've ever played against. And I think I was playing down here one day on a trap play, and he came in and filled that hole. And next thing I knew, I was back in the backfield again.
Notice your nose is still a little crooked.
He did that a couple of times.
Anyway, the timeout by Atlanta leaves them one remaining with 1:17. So Rollin Lawrence, who's made some big plays, in fact had one call back today, goes back a single safety, and Tom Whittam will be kicking.
You know, they've taken a lot of pressure off of Whittam. In the beginning of the year, he was doing both the field goal kicking and the punting. And now he's just back there punting, and I think his average, you'll see, will start coming up because he's one of the best punters in the league.
From the 29, he'll be kicking. And he hits a wobbly kick. Lawrence is going to let it hit, and he didn't want to do that. Ball inside the 15. Lawrence had intentions of catching that on the fly. He backed up. It's an end result. They're not going to have field position. It's all the way down to the 10-yard line. Did you see Whittam hold his hand out? He wanted the ball snapped to that side so he could kick to that side. He knew where the rush was coming. 46-yard kick by Tom Whittam. So now the Falcons have a long ways to go from the 10-yard line with only 1:06 remaining.
I think they'll be content right now to run that clock out unless they can get something going, because they don't want to have to give up that ball, because San Francisco still has 3 timeouts also. So they're going to be calling the timeouts now. The shoe is on the other foot.
Playing conditions have really improved since the first quarter when it was raining steadily. Now it is not raining. Got a delay right now. Gonna have a delay of the game maybe, or did Barkowski get timeout? He got timeout. And that's their last timeout. Barkowski calling timeout. He saw something there, and I tell you, in a situation like this, no score, you want to be absolutely sure of a play when you're that deep in your own territory.
That's for sure. I think now they're going to be more than content to run it out.
The Dixie 500 right here in Atlanta. Going to be televised, the highlights of it, on November 6th. Where it was run, the 18th annual Dixie 500. Cale Yarborough and Richard Petty in that field. Speeds of 190 miles an hour. And then, also on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the Pendleton Roundup Rodeo. Are you a rodeoer?
No, not quite.
All right, North America's top cowboys met at Pendleton, Oregon for the event September 14th through the 17th. And that's going to be coming your way. And then the world's strongest men and the vehicle pull coming up. Going to pull a tram that weighs 9,200 pounds. Steve Barkowski on the first down, gives off to Woody Thompson to the 15-yard line. We had an interesting statistic just handled to us. Total passing of both teams in this first half. Now, this has to include the sack losses.
That's right.
Is a -1 yard.
-1 yard. I mean, you think this isn't a defensive ball game? My goodness.
If you like defense, this is your cup of tea today.
Well, I've had this game about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I did the same game, and the same thing happened. There's just 2 great defensive ball clubs going at each other. These are the 2 teams that have got to start generating some offense.
Right now, San Francisco used a timeout. They think they're going to get the ball back. So with 57 seconds left, we have a cat and mouse game going right now. At the 15-yard line, it's going to be second down and still 5 yards to go for Atlanta.
I don't know if there's ever been an overtime game at 0-0, but it should be interesting.
Well, you know, you think about these 2 teams, Tom. If you have a defense, I'll tell you, you can go some places and eventually get that offense up to snuff.
I can remember when in 1963 when the Chicago Bears had that great defense. They didn't have much offense, but boy, that Chicago Bear defense was fantastic and won them the NFL championship.
Kept them in there. Now Woody Thompson and Billy Pritchett are the running backs for Atlanta. And here comes the big fullback rambling out to the 20-yard line. Jimmy Webb making the tackle for San Francisco, and that San Francisco's used another timeout. So with 52 seconds left now, going to bring up a third down. Let's see, today they're looking to measure, but from our, well, we can't tell from our vantage point. They're a long ways from the field here in Atlanta. They're going to bring the sticks in.
It's close, but I think they're short by a little bit.
52 seconds left. And they are short. Look at that. Dallas 14-3. Roger Staubach to Billy Joe Dupree. 5-yard touchdown pass. Joe Danello in that game kicked a 52-yard field goal for the Giants.
Wow. They haven't had a good place kicker up there since our old man was up there, Mr. Summerall.
Well, anyway, San Francisco did use that second timeout, I believe, as at the 20-yard line, or did they?
Well, here's another score right there. Philadelphia 14 over New Orleans 0. Philadelphia is an up-and-coming ball club, I think. They've got a young coach there that really gets these guys motivated. He feels that he's got rid of some of the ball players that were not what he expected.
Third down, a short yard. Woody Thompson, he's got it. Woody Thompson all the way out to the 40-yard line. Mel Phillips and Ralph McGill, and now Atlanta wants to hurry it up. Boy, how that changed the complexion. They were hanging on, and now they've got a first down at the 40, and they're not even huddling up. They have another play called.
All right, here it is again. Here's Woody breaking to the outside, has good blocking up front. Breaks the outside, turns on some speed. Good tackle by McGill, saves that touchdown. McGill and Phillips are both there.
Here they are trying to stop the clock. And I'll tell you, Tony Leonard knew what they were doing, and he was laying back there, hoping to come up with the interception. That stops it with 18 seconds. Leonard knew exactly what Bartkowski was going to do. He's going to kill the clock, and he laid over here, waiting for that, and had a crack at it.
Well, I'll tell you, Leonard read it.
Bartkowski saying, hey, I saw him. 18 seconds. We've had a lot of football in the last minute and a half. Alfred Jenkins comes back into the play as McKinley checks out. McKinley, number 73. He can be the backup tight end for McCrary or play an offensive tackle spot. Jim Mitchell out of the game with a knee injury. Second down, 10. Bartkowski back again. Going for broke. And Alfred Jenkins running in to Bruce Taylor on that far side. Taylor getting up kind of slowly.
Well, I think Jenkins made a good play there because Taylor was back there waiting for that ball to come down, and Jenkins ran right into him, probably broke up an interception.
That's the first time they've thrown that way to Bruce Taylor. He's a fine performer, 8th-year man from Boston.
He's got 18 interceptions in his career. He ain't bad. They don't like to throw to that side at all.
There's your time. 11 seconds left. Third down, 10. The thing about Bartkowski, that bazooka for an arm, he can turn something over in a hurry. So they'll have another crack at it. 0-0 our score. If you've just joined us from Atlanta Stadium, the 49ers and Falcons in a real struggle. Francis and Jenkins, a wide receiver. Look out. And the gold rush is there again. Cedric Hardman in particular has Cleveland Elam gave him an assist on the play. A loss back inside the 30-yard line.
They're continuing those sacks. They've got 4 of them now. Atlanta has 3, I believe.
4, so that gives them 28.
They keep on rolling. I'll tell you, that defense is starting to put it together. And, you know, in the beginning of the season, these guys were picked as probably having a good chance of winning their division, and they're not really out of it. They're only 2 games out of first place. If you look at the, if you look at the score.
Well, what really hurt San Francisco is they started out on a Monday night against Pittsburgh, then lost to Miami and the Rams. 3 pretty tough teams in a row.
They had a tough schedule.
Well, according to the scoreboard clock, San Francisco used their last timeout. We had anticipated a moment ago they might have used it, but right now they have the timeout with a crack at the ball with 7 seconds remaining. It's 4th down, 22 yards to go. John James with another pressure-packed punt. He's had a few of them in this first half.
I think the best thing they could do right now is either call it, just kick it out of there and keep it away from somebody. They're going to have the big rush on, though. They've got to try to go for the block. It doesn't mean anything if they don't.
Leonard is back as a single man for San Francisco. There he is. Second-year man for Virginia Union. This is John James.
Everybody's up there. Look out.
Look at them trying to get themselves aligned, both offensively and defensively. James is going to have to get rid of this one in a hurry. And he does.
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Leonard now at the 38-yard line. And Leonard's going to be dropped at the 42, and that's all the time we have left in this first half of play as Robert Pennywell got down there, as James got the job done for Atlanta. So we have a scoreless duel here at halftime between Atlanta and San Francisco, as both of these excellent defensive teams have played up to their capabilities defensively. As coming into this ball game, both ranked in the top 3 defensively, and today they're not hurting that average at all. Both of them getting the good pass pressure, neither team able to establish any kind of ball control. One thing to take in consideration, Tom, is the weather has improved after that first quarter.
I think you're going to see him trying to come out with more offense this second half. If I were the coach, I'd try to be taking advantage of some of the situations that they've done on first down. Both teams have been running a lot on that first down, so maybe they'll come out with some screens, some draws, and throwing that ball to generate some type of offense. We got to get some excitement in this game,
All
David.
right. Brent Phillison from the NFL Today, CBS Sports Control in New York, will be updating some games, and we've had some interesting things happening throughout the NFL on CBS.
You're right.
So 0-0 our score here at Atlanta Stadium. Gary Bender with Tom Matte. We're going to be back with you to bring you the second half of play. But right now, let's go to New York and be updated on what's...
Bend it. Clean that carburetor. Get a hold of this and do it yourself. Keep the change, partner.
Sell again! I struck oil! Wing is married now.
But, Billy Joe, you are dressed for a Del Rio dog fight. You'd sure look better in Hager's slacks. Or a Hager sport coat and slacks. Even a Hager vested suit. A variety of outfits you don't have to be rich to afford. Oh, Billy Joe, you look like $1 million.
Make that too.
Billy
Hager,
Joe.
because looking good makes you feel good.
Rafferty relies on unorthodox treatment when an unknown disease threatens the life of his nurse.
It hurts like hell. What's the matter with me?
Brought her home to die.
I can't help it. I don't want to be this way.
If you want to go, go all the way.
Join Rafferty on a life-saving mission. Monday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain.
Next Saturday, CBS Sports Spectacular presents highlights of NASCAR's 18th annual Dixie 500 with the leading stock car drivers racing for the checkered flag. The Pendleton Roundup Rodeo with Larry Mahan and Tom Ferguson heading the field of top cowboys. Plus, the world's strongest men competition featuring the vehicle pull. That's next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern.
I want all of you to see Phyllis's special tribute to O.J. Simpson, but first let me get you up to date on all the scores around the NFL. Many of you, of course, watching this game at the half. Dallas leads the New York Giants 14-3. And Philadelphia, 2 touchdowns ahead of New Orleans. But remember, the Saints have been a comeback team in the second half so far this year. San Francisco and Atlanta. The rest of you are watching this contest. Scoreless tie, that tough Atlanta defense again. Miami and the New York Jets. Bob Greasy's pass has the Dolphins ahead at the half by a score of 7-3. Brian Sipe has just passed for a touchdown for the Browns. 7-7 at the half with Cincinnati. Buffalo and New England. How about this for a surprise? Without the great Simpson, the Bills lead at the half over New England 17-7. San Diego and Detroit are underway 8-0. The AFC stands against the NFC. That game scoreless at the half. But Houston has just kicked a field goal against the Chicago Bears. They lead it in the first quarter. Kansas City, behind its new coach, Tom Bettis, leads Green Bay by a score of 10-0. Mike Livingston tossed a touchdown pass to Marshall. And Phyllis, now that special tribute to O.J. Simpson.
Well, Brent, nobody knows for sure whether O.J. Simpson will play again or not. If he does, then we'll all be richer. If he doesn't, then we should all be grateful for what has been. This tribute to O.J., Orenthal James Simpson, is not offered to mark the end of an era, but rather to celebrate the joy of feats already accomplished and enjoyed by millions and millions. It's a small thank you to Orenthal James.
They say that you may be leaving, that the artist's canvas may be through. It brings much sadness and grieving, so let's hope that it won't come true. But if it is the end of the weaving, the magnificent dashes of number 32, then in a quaint small town in Ohio, I've dusted a place for you. For when they asked me what kind of runner I sought, I said, give me a man with heart, a workhorse, a racehorse, a thoroughbred who has wings on his feet for a start. Give me a man who can blaze all the way, yard lines ticking off under his cleats. A man who can grab a crowd by their coats and pull them cheering from their seats. Give me a man who'll take record books and shred them and tear them to shambles. A man who amazes and dazes the foe with his goal line to goal line rambles. Something inside, something gentle, and yet very tough. He must exude class in his bearing, have a face full of caring, and walk proud with his friends and brothers. For it's easy to tell how much this man loves by how much he is loved by others. Yes, I've seen such men now and again, but they're the rarest of all the breeds. And they live forever in the freeze-framed memories of all who witnessed their deeds. They were gritty men with bushels of style which added laughter and life to their games. McElhenney, Thorpe, Brown, Grange, and Sayers. Those are some of the names. Finished, and if it's time to fold away number 32, then in a quaint small town in Ohio, I've dusted a place for you.
Orenthal James Simpson. He's done so much for professional football, and he'll never be forgotten.
Dave Morecambe of NFL Films wrote that poem, Marvelous Tribute. The NFL Today will continue on CBS with Irv Cross looking at the Dallas Giant game in just a moment.
After this word from your local station, Vera becomes paralyzed and fears she is dying. Her only hope, Rafferty, tomorrow at 10, 9 Central and Mountain on CBS.
Irv, Roland Hooks, who replaced O.J. Simpson, gained 109 yards in the first half of the game, and you got some highlights from Dallas and the Giants.
All right, let's move on to it. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys brought the #1 team in the National Football League into Giant Stadium today and needed a break early in order to score. And here's how it comes. Bobby Hammond, back to receive a punt, can't quite get the handle. He has him. He's hit here, and the ball is bounced up. And Ernie Jones picks it up. He can't hold on. And Jay Saldy falls on it and wades into the end zone for the first score. After an exchange of kicks, Dinello's in good field position here, 52-yard field goal. Dallas now leads 7-3. The Giants had pressure all day long, and Randy White here gets a sack for the Cowboys. They had 31 to lead the entire league coming into this game, and late in the second quarter, Roger Staubach does his number again. Billy Joe Dupree, touchdown. Dallas leads at halftime 14-3.
Boy, the Cowboys look tough, don't they, Irv? All right, New Orleans and Philadelphia. The Eagles, as I have told you, have dominated in the first half, but the Saints have been a comeback team all year. Here's Jaworski, broken hand and all, diving in for the touchdown, 7-0. This is a good reception here by Lusk. That got down to the New Orleans 6. Now, Jaworski's touchdown pass to Harold Carmichael. Carmichael has caught at least one pass, 74 straight games, 14-0 right now. The Eagles lead. San Francisco and Atlanta. What can you say about that Atlanta defense? They're doing it again. Scoreless at the half. But everyone wondered, what would Bartkowski do today for the offensive attack? Well, maybe Steve is just a bit rusty. Here in the second quarter, we're going to watch him throw this ball, and Dave Washington will pick it off for the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers were horrible early this year, but right now, this afternoon, they're looking for their third straight victory. So the 49ers start to come on a little bit behind Meyer. There's the interception by Washington, cutting toward the sideline, looking for that blocking wall. Now watch Claude Humphrey go to work. Jimmy Plunkett calling his own plays. That's made a difference. Humphrey finally gets in on Plunkett. Scoreless at the end of the half. Chicago and Houston. Let's check in on that game. Interesting intrigue there. Sid Gilman, now an assistant coach with the Bears, of course, for so many years, was the head coach down at Houston after leaving San Diego. He should know how to stop Kenny Burrow, but not perfect execution. Pastorini hits him even though he was well covered. Now we're going to watch Ronnie Coleman find a hole and squirt for 16 yards. He's one of those unheralded runners in the NFL. He does a good job. That set up the field goal, and right now it is 3-0, Houston leading Chicago still in the first quarter. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
Should have bought Mobile One. The wireless saves you gas, you know.
Should have bought Mobile One. Helps you start at 35 below.
Should have bought Mobile 1. Engine temperature hits 500. You're cool.
Should have bought Mobile 1. You only change it every 15,000 miles.
Mobile 1, the oil that does it all. Take it from an expert.
Oh, they're engaged.
Sit close together.
Show your ring.
Take their picture.
Hold it.
Only one instant film gives you this bright, brilliant color by Kodak.
Gorgeous. Oh, color. Are my eyes really that blue?
They're that blue.
Yuck.
Wait till you grow up.
There's only one way to get brilliant instant color by Kodak. With Kodak Instant Print Film.
Are my eyes really that blue?
Oh. Only one instant film gives you this bright, brilliant color by Kodak.
The San Francisco 49ers surprise people with a reckless will to win. We know we're at the start of a new era. Hello, I'm Delvin Williams, and I'd like to show you everybody's favorite city. Who hasn't fallen in love with San Francisco? With the fog rolling in over the bay, with elegant ladies on Montgomery Street, over brunch in Sausalito, or a ride on a cable car. San Francisco people have a special feeling for life. Spanish, Italian, Japanese, Chinese, black and white. No one's a stranger in San Francisco, in part because of the volunteers in our United Way. They work in daycare centers, family counseling services, and many other agencies funded by our United Way. It's their way of holding hands with the city they love. They are beautiful people, and for all of them, we'd like to say, thanks to you, it works for all of us, United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Well, Tom, we have definitely a defensive struggle. It's 0-0, and statistically pointed out by the fact there were only 7 first downs in the first half.
I'll tell you what, it's just been a great defensive ball game if you're that kind of a fan. If you really like to see good defense, you've got two of the best right here.
Well, the field conditions have improved. It looked like we were going to have rain all day long. That has to help. Be interested, though, what do you do? Both these teams have been shutting everyone down defensively.
I'll tell you, you go in at halftime and you just come up with something. You got to go in the grab bag real deep to find it.
A little tricky play here and there, right?
You're right. You need everything you can get.
Let's look now at the statistics to point out what we were just talking about. There's the 7 first downs. But look at this total yardage for San Francisco, 49 yards.
That's unbelievable. You just can't have that happen. You've got to generate some type of offense some way.
Time of possession, you can see Atlanta by far the better of that. And in the early part of the game, what might be misleading about that, Tom, is that they had the ball in such bad field position when they had it.
And the thing that should have happened is that San Francisco had some great field position. They had a chance to score a number of times. It came up with the penalties and the mistakes and the turnovers that just killed them.
Now, this young man, familiar to some of our viewers in the Bay Area, Fred Steinfurt. He was this week acquired to replace Nick Nickemeyer. He was the guy who last year played for Oakland, been traveling around, and now they're wearing number 1 for Atlanta. He's kicking off. Paul Hofer has it for San Francisco. The second half underway, and here he comes out across the 40 to the 45-yard line. Paul Hofer, a second-year man from Mississippi, who is 11th in the NFC in kickoff returns.
I'll tell you, he really puts it down, digs down, and just look at the stride he has here. He's coming up real. Breaks right through the hole, gets good blocking, gets great field position. Little Mike Esposito makes the tackle for him.
So the ball now at the 47-yard line, and the 49ers start out in excellent field position. No score as we start this third quarter from Atlanta Stadium. Jim Plunkett, the quarterback. Jackson, Delvin Williams, the running backs. Washington, flank to the bottom of the screen. Plunkett rolling the far side. And he got it off complete. And there's that big tight end, Mitchell, who he didn't throw to the entire first half. He had 6 catches last week, and he has 1 here for the first down.
I tell you, he is some kind of tight end. That was my old roommate I told you earlier. He is a football player, and he's the guy's going to be around here a lot. Here again, Plunkett's doing that semi-rollout. He just drops this right over the top. Tom catches that ball, tucks it away, and holds on to it. He don't let up to it. Mr. Lawrence came up there again, made that big tackle.
11-year veteran from Bucknell. The ball is at the 35, first down. Plunkett back again, throwing Kenny Harrison, and he's hit immediately. Rick Bias flying up the field. Harrison was shaken up in the first half, but he's come back strong.
I think that the game plan has come around the fact that they're going to start throwing that ball and putting it up the air. The rain has stopped. I think Plunkett has the opportunity to drill it. He's going to try to hit the semi-rollouts. He's going to hit those short passes out there. You know, you can't hit those big bombs, Gary. You have to work it out.
Especially against the pressure.
Yeah, with this rush that they have.
Second down now, a gain of 4 on that last play. Plunkett back to throw again. Looking for Harrison to make his cut. Kenny Harrison against Rollin Lawrence on the far side, and that was very close to being something.
That was a great play by Harrison. Here's again, is on that play, the defensive back came up on a zone defense, and so instead of doing the quick out pattern, he cut to the outside and broke up in between in that dead spot, and Plunkett tried to drop it in between. Just overthrew it a little bit.
So we come now to a 3rd down, 6. You know, Plunkett looks like he's really under control out there, surveying the situation, looking for that little spot that he can pick on. Right now, the Falcons make a defensive change again. Tom Wiener coming in at the nose position, McLean to a linebacker.
Big 3rd down situation here. They got to get that first.
And look out. Coming across was Pennywell. He was in the backfield. Now they needed 6 yards for a 1st down.
I'll tell you, that's a linebacker stepping up right up in there. He's coming right across. He tries to stop and get back, but he hits somebody. Whoop. Hey, Mom.
That's like getting your hand caught in the cookie jar.
Who put the cookie in the cookie jar?
Here we go. Pat Haggerty will verify what we just saw.
Encroachment. 59. Defense.
Pennywell. So now it changes maybe their play call. They have 3rd and 6. They have a 3rd and 1 now.
Go with their short yardage deep offense right now. Come in with the 2 tight ends.
A lot of penalties in that first half of play. And right now Atlanta with another costly one. A give to Wilbur Jackson, and he's got the 1st down. Jackson to the 21-yard line. So San Francisco now, this is the initial series of the second half, moving the football. Ray Easterling making the tackle for Atlanta. Gene Washington, Kenny Harrison come back in.
All right, here he is coming off and handing it off, making sure he sticks it in there. Humphrey is really getting wrapped around in the inside there. That's a good offensive line charge by the Falcons, or by San Francisco to get him that 1st down.
1st down at the 21-yard line. Plunkett gives off to Delvin Williams. He makes it to the 19-yard line. Awfully tough to run against this Atlanta defense. Ball inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
They're in that field goal range right now.
Well, this is the closest anyone has come to really getting into the scoring column. Earlier, you might recall, Rollin Lawrence had a 52-yard interception called back because of a penalty. 2nd down, 8. Plunkett to Delvin Williams, and look at the charge by the red-shirted Falcons. They just buried that play.
They're getting fired up now. They know they've got to stop him and push him back. There's Merrill right here, right now. Again, watch the charge of this defensive line coming straight across. He's coming straight down, boom, and hits him in there. That is what you call pursuit. That's a hungry man right there.
Boy,
that looks like the whole team.
Let's everybody get on the dog pile. So now it is 3rd down again, 3rd and 8. Plunkett giving off to Delvin Williams. Williams to the 15. Knocked out of bounds. That will not be enough for the 1st down, so it comes to a 4th down. Rick Bias rammed him out. And now we're going to have a field goal attempt.
It's close.
Do you think he made it?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think so.
I think it's a little short on it.
But I have been wrong before on these. I will refrain from saying any more.
We're so far from the field up here, it's hard to see. I think they're going to go. They're going to go for the 1st down.
Yes, they are. 4th down. Obradovic comes in. John Ayers comes in. Gene Washington comes out. It's 4th down and still a yard to go. Plunkett giving to Jackson, and I don't know.
I don't either.
Boy, this crowd is going crazy now. Look at him. 3rd down or 4th down and 1, and Jackson, I don't know if he fell forward or not. Brazina, Easterling combining on the stop, and they got it. It's first down. Just outside the 10-yard line.
We've got some other scores just came in. Dan Pastorini hit Ken Burrows on an 85-yard touchdown pass in the second quarter. Houston leads 10-0. And also Greasy hit Harris for a 24-yard pass and puts Miami ahead 14-3 over the New York Jets.
You see Ken Meyer looking on. A gutsy call, fourth down and a yard, and they got it. This is Delvin Williams. Boy, they're not in by a long shot against this Atlanta defense. Miro again making the stop. Now remember, Ray Wershing, their field goal kicker, has hit 3 of 4, so he's been accurate if they need to go to him. No gain on that play.
The Atlanta defense is doing a great job. Here's Williams coming across, and watch the line charge out there and how it's filled up. Murrow comes straight across and makes a great tackle.
They gave him maybe a half yard on that play, but not much more than that. Jimmy Plunkett giving off to Wilbur Jackson. And Jackson's to the 6-yard line, and we have a third down as Ralph Ortega, who's replaced the venerable veteran Tommy Novus. Ortega, third-year man, a former All-American from Florida. So we come to another third down. Look at this one. Buffalo is really shaking things up.
Doug Jones intercepted a pass and returned it 24 yards for a touchdown. 24-7. That's the biggest upset of the day, I'll tell you.
It definitely is. And, of course, it was Buffalo that defeated the Falcons 3-0. Third down now at the 6. Plunkett gives off to Williams. Williams fighting for the goal line. He's so close. He is so close. Now, they started this series outside the 10 so they could get a first and goal if they're in the right position.
And I think they're measuring. It looked like a fake reverse. Watch the man come behind Williams right there. Williams sees the hole, cuts back up to the inside, and almost gets into the end zone. It's good, hard running. I think he may have that first down if they do. Look out. They do.
Yes, sir. They have 4 downs now. First and goal. Well, there's some good blocking on that play.
It sure was.
So now San Francisco trying to get on the scoreboard. We have a 0-0 game. This is the initial drive of the second half. 9.5 minutes to go in it. First and goal, just about the 1-yard line. Jimmy Plunkett to Williams. Boy, I tell you, you've got to work for every inch against this team.
Boy,
Ray Brown coming
Ray
up.
Brown from the safety comes up and gets it for him. All right.
I tell you, you can talk about offense, but this is exciting to see the great defensive effort here by Atlanta. How hard San Francisco's had to work on this drive. And right now, they're still not in there. They may have lost some yardage on that play.
They sure did. They lost at least a yard.
Second down goal. Let's mark it at the 2. They did lose a yard. Bucket to Wilbur Jackson. And he disappears from sight. Boy, he's got to be close.
He's in there for the touch.
Now they indicate it. They did.
Well, we got some points on the board anyway. Here it is again. This is good running. Plunkett just handing off. You can see the line charge right there. The back leading through the hole. The other back putting his head down and just plowing in there. Look for him. I can't find him.
Well, he did get in as Jackson cracking over.
6 points.
And that could be a mighty big 6 points the way this game is going. 6-0 now. Wershing to attempt the point after. He's 8 of 8. Wood in the hole, and Ray Wershing, the former San Diego Charger, hits it. And now the San Francisco 49ers taking the opening kickoff to the second half of play and marching, scoring, and taking a 7-0 lead here in the third quarter.